Okay, so we're recording, and we are with Steve Johnson from Panama Buena Vista School District, and I'm Hans Tolman, the tech coach at Richland, and we're here with Robert Stout, the Director of Technology, and Rocio, the Assistant Superintendent. So thanks for joining us, Steve. We are just this year starting our journey with Future Ready, and we wanted to ask you about Panama's story and maybe some of the things that have worked really well and some things that haven't. And I'll be taking notes while you're sharing.
Okay, sure. And to interrupt me if you have any questions, I'll start from the beginning. Last school year, Dr. Silverberg signed the pledge. Um, After he did that, he put together a task force, one person in charge of each of the gears. So there's a curriculum gear, kind of space gear, budget gear, all those. So there's one person in charge of each of those. He brought us. I was in charge of the personalized professional learning gear. So he brought us all together and kind of went over the idea of Future Ready because a lot of us hadn't heard of it. But, so I guess to make a long story short, what we did was we each created a committee that that we had for our year, and of about 8 to 10 people, and those people took the self-assessment test through Future Ready that you do on their website.
Mm-hmm.
Data. Basically, what we got back from Future Ready after each years, and they took these tests, was we were given gaps, and then we were given strategies on how to overcome those gaps. So, for example, for my year of personalized professional learning, a gap could have been that the district had no policies and procedures in place to establish any time anywhere learning for staff members, right? So we give that gap, and then we give strategies to overcome that gap. So we got all of these self-assessment results back for each year, and then it kind of stopped. That was it for the rest of the last school year. So at the beginning of this school year, actually about a month ago, Dr. Silverberg came to me with one of their Christmas specials named Katrina Wilson. He said, could you guys kind of pick this up and kind of finish it, kind of keep going with it. So that's what we've been working on, and we're kind of we're at a place right now where we have to. There's some next steps that have to be done, and we're kind of just taking care of some other things like that SIG grant that I told you about, Hans.
Uh-huh.
We're looking at that right now, but we want to jump back into it, and I can show you what we have so far, if that's what you want, or I can answer any questions if you have any at this point.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see it. One question that I have, what are some challenges that you guys have come across as you started, gathering your leadership team together and you start on these steps? What have been some of the biggest challenges for you guys?
Well, the biggest challenge that I've noticed is trying to create the plan after you get all the information from Future Ready regarding those self-assessments. That's the biggest hurdle. I mean, before that, it's just maybe finding a representative for each year if that's the way you guys want to do it. Um, just getting people to take the self-assessment for each year, um, and making sure that they are knowledgeable and can give a pretty accurate account of what's happening in your district. That's very helpful as well. But it really is, once you get that information, the tough part is putting a plan together. I mean, districts have so many plans and initiatives, right? I mean, there's the LCAP, of course, and then there's other priorities. We actually have another plan that Panama's put together with 4 different priorities. And there's other initiatives and plans that are out there. And so is Future Ready just one more initiative to tack on, to put on an already full plate? I think that's the biggest challenge right there.
Okay, awesome. And so, so if you had to do it again, how would you incorporate the plan with into the LCAP, or how did the relationship between the Future Ready and LCAP work for you guys?
Well, what we first did was we aligned. Well, maybe I should just show you what we've done so far, and that'll
Sure.
probably better explain how we're getting it in alignment with both the priorities the district set forth, and then also eventually the LCAP as well. The LCAP is so big that I think that it's almost impossible to get it completely aligned
Right.
on paper in every single way. But there is definitely alignment in it. So I'll just here. Let me jump on. So basically, what we did. I'll get this real quick here. I know it's probably kind of hard to see, so let me what we decided to do was we were kind of going first with creating our plan. Make sure
Oh, it took that.
yeah, here. I just control zeroed it back to
Okay.
so it's just go back. So basically, what we were doing was we wanted to take 21st century skills and the six C's. There's like six of them now. We were looking at that first, and we were finding it hard to just kind of conceptualize all the things we're doing and want to do in the district in that way. So, to make a long story short, what we basically ended up doing was taking the four correct drivers for Michael Fulton's book Coherence and putting them in the table that you're seeing right now on my screen.
Great.
So what we ended up doing is we turned gaps to goals, because as you'll see, I don't know if you guys have done the assessment yet, but the assessment, like I said, will give you gaps. And so at first we had gaps right here, and we thought, that's good. It's nice that Future Ready gives us these gaps and strategies to overcome the gaps. But we wanted to be, number one, a little more positive. Number two, we wanted to put strategies that get us toward goals. We changed the word gap to goal, which is what you see right here.
Great.
And then what we did was we took the four drivers. Those four drivers are focusing direction, a little slow, cultivating collaborative cultures, deepening learning, securing accountability. So those are the four correct drivers that Michael Fulton talks about in his book, Coherence. And so I put those in this table, and then going across, I scroll back up, going across, we have year one strategies, year two strategies, and year three strategies. So at first, what we started doing is putting in year one strategies and stretching those out for years two and year three. But I guess one thing that in hindsight I would change is we decided not to worry about year two and year three right now. I mean, things are changing so quickly in 3 months,
Right.
even 3 weeks, that making a 3-year plan that's future ready right now at this point is just too much. And
Sure.
it's going to be wrong. It's probably going to be wrong really quickly, too, because of the amount of change. I mean, 3 years from now, who knows what education is going to look like? I mean, honestly, it's going to be completely different, probably in a lot of ways.
Right.
So, just focusing on year one strategies, that's good enough for us. And keeping the drivers in mind, like focusing direction here, really helped it to be focused and to avoid the pitfalls of what the wrong drivers are, what Michael Fulton calls the wrong drivers. And those are ad hoc policies, punitive accountability, technology actually is one of them, because it's been used as a wrong driver for so many things in the past.
Right.
And there's one more. I forgot the fourth one is. But anyways, it helped us to get rid of those, to not focus on those. And so you can see what we've done is we took like goal one. So goal one under curriculum is year one, curriculum instruction assessment. Goal one is establish effective practices, tools, and protocols to implement effective 21st century learning. So we put goal one here, and then our strategies that are going to try to get us to achieve goal one. You can see those right there.
Great.
And then goal two, establish clear protocols for using technology to collect, analyze, and communicate diagnostic, formative, and summative data to guide teaching and learning. You can see that we have one strategy right here within focusing direction, right here, you can see that this is the one strategy that was going to go towards goal two. And we've kind of just put them, cultivate collaborative cultures, deepening learning, and securing accountability. We've put those strategies attached to those goals within those four drivers.
That's great. Yeah, man, I can tell you guys put a lot of time and thought into putting this together.
Yeah, I mean, so the difficult thing is we have invested so much in so many different things, that great things in our district, right? I mean, for direct instruction, we put a lot of time and effort into DII, direct interactive instruction. I don't know if you guys use that strategy, but that's our direct instruction strategy.
Right.
We've deployed 14,000 devices, most of those being the Acers or the Lumix, but we have about 1,500 Chromebooks out there now. We've implemented 95% group for walk to learn for intervention, early literacy intervention strategy. I mean, there's a lot of things that we've invested in. And being future ready isn't about just throwing everything away. At least the way I interpret it, it's not just throwing everything away and just buying Chromebooks or whatever. It's like it's taking that really good pedagogy into the future with strategies and planning that will foster more student learning. And I just think that these four driving the book by Michael Fullen, Coherence, is probably one of the best books in education I've ever read.
Wow.
And it's totally in alignment with Future Ready in a very pragmatic, pedagogical way. So it's not just one of those. So in that way, Future Ready isn't some extra initiative you have to do on top of everything else. I think it really can fit in with what you're doing, and it's kind of a map for the future in that way.
Awesome. Cool. This is great. Thank you so much for sharing this, Steve. I'm gonna see.
Yeah, no problem.